Hello there, this is the vocal tuning and pitch correction masterclass. In this course, you're going to learn all you need to know about tuning and pitching vocals, either in automatic mode or in manual mode using Autotune software. You're going to learn the ins and outs of the software. You're going to learn what each and every little button does. I'm going to break it down to simple and very easy to understand concepts that you can also practicalize while watching this course. Autotune is a very powerful software and you can do a whole lot. You can make an average or even less average vocal sound like a pro in just a few clicks of a button. I'm going to show you how to get it done in a few clicks of a button. I'm going to show you more advanced ways to get even more perfect pitch correction done. Hello there. In this lesson, you're going to learn what pitch correction is. And in fact, pitch correction is really simple. It's simply the process of correcting notes that are off the root note or root key of the intended music or the musical scale or backing instrumental. For example, let's say I make a beat or have a beat or a guitar backing track playing in key C. And then I have a singer singing as well, trying to sing in key C, but at some point, the notes that the singer hits, maybe some high pitch or just the regular notes that the singer is trying to hit, tends to, deviate from the notes that make up key C. The notes that make up major scale of key C is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, all the white notes on the piano. So let's assume the singer hits one of the black notes. So we have to correct that so that the recording can be perfect, the tuning can be perfect. So that's why we use a software like Autotune or any pitch correction software to take it back to one of the white keys that sounds the most reasonable in respect to the vocal and the beat or the backing track. Alright, so that's it. You already know what pitch correction is. Then a pitch correction software is a software. Now this is the tool you use to correct it. This is the tool you use to achieve that result, to take it back from the wrong notes to the right notes, to offset it back into the right notes. There's so much you can do with a pitch correction software. You can simply just pitch correct it, or you can even have more creative use of a pitch correction software. But for this course, we're going to stick primarily to how to achieve pitch correction and how to tune vocals properly so it sounds great. Alright, so right here we have our Autotune plugin, and this is the interface. This is what you typically see if you're using Autotune version 9. This is the basic view, and I'll show you the advanced view and other views in this Autotune plugin, and believe me, it's really easy to follow up. So here in the Autotune interface, we have this top bar right here. Here we have the view, which you can toggle between advanced and basic view. Here we have the inputs type, if maybe your singer is hitting the soprano vocal part, or is taking in an alto or tenor, or maybe it's even a low male or baritone vocal. You can also tune instruments as well, and you can also use bass for bass instruments. Now this is the key. These are the tonal notes. So when you know the root key of a beat, let's assume maybe the beat or the backing instruments playing is playing in key D, for example, you can simply click this key and have it in key D. This is what will help to tune your vocals correctly. And then here we have the scale, and there are so many types of musical scales. We have the major scale, minor scale, chromatic, and so many more scales. But most times, most songs, especially pop songs, are usually recorded or made with major or minor scales. Here we have the auto mode and the graphical mode for the Autotune. The auto mode is where you can dial in these settings here and achieve a great result, and the graph mode is for more precise settings for your Autotune, which we'll call to as this course progresses. Here we have the classic, which references Autotune version 5, where you just have it really straightforward and simple, where you have the retune speed, you have the humanize and the vibrato. But when you take it off the classic, you have more features like the flex tune, which we'll come to, and I'll tell you what they do. And then here we have formant, which changes the weight of the vocal. You can make it sound lighter, kind of like the chipmunk style, or really deep, more like that demon style vocal. And here we have the transpose. If you want to transpose the vocal or the audio signal coming into another key, you can transpose it into that. And then we have the detune. For some reasons, if you want to maybe detune the vocal, maybe to achieve a creative effect, you can do that with this. And then something important you should take note of is this tracking. What this tracking does is that it tries to get the best tuning for your vocals, the reference. Now, if you recorded your vocals really clean and clear with no noise, then all you need to do is take it all the way down to 100. But if maybe you have some maybe headphone bleeds into your microphone recording, you have some background noise in it, maybe you can take it maybe to 30 or 20 or 40. But if you're not really sure if this is free of any noise or background noise, you can leave it at 50, and it's going to try and adjust to tune accordingly. Now, here we have the retune speed. This is simply the rate at which the Autotune tries to retarget the notes of the vocal into, like, let's say for example, it goes off to key D sharp or any of the black notes, and we're playing on all the white notes. This is how fast it tries to take it back into the white notes. And it can also be the amount of Autotune itself. So the more you push this, the more tuned it's going to sound. Now, this flex tune is if you don't want it to have that signature Autotune sound, you want to sound more natural, this is where you dial in your flex tune. And this humanize is if you want to have it to have more humanized features, you want to sound a bit more realistic, to enhance the realism in it, you can simply adjust this humanize button here. And the natural vibrato is used to increase or decrease or just modify the vibrato of your vocal recording. Now, this here is the piano notes, where you can simply select keys and bypass. Let's say you in the major scale of key C, you don't want the notes to hit maybe any of this. When you click this, you see keyboard edit is going to remove it or bypass it, anyone that maybe you may prefer, and we'll refer to all of this as the course progresses. So let me take this off. But when you have this at major scale, because I've already told the plugin the scale you are working on, you do not have this access anymore, you can't control this place anymore. Or if you have minor scale, any scale you pick, kind of, you already have it locked here because you already tell Autotune the scale it should work in. Let's say we stick to major scale for now. So if you've been struggling with getting pro mixes, making better beats, recording vocals, I do offer one-on-one training. Yes, one-on-one training. And all you have to do is click the link in the description below that says one-on-one training. You fill a very simple form so I can help understand you better and what you need and how I can help you get there. So when you fill this form, I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible, and we can get started on your journey to making much better music in no time. Trust me, it doesn't have to be a hustle. Making music doesn't have to be a hustle. You don't have to spend many endless hours on YouTube looking for tutorials. With just a very short time, within about 4 to 6 weeks, roughly within that range, I can get you to your goals in no time. Yes, with money back guaranteed. So don't forget to click the link in the description after you're done with this video to fill up a form, and I'm going to get back to you pronto. All right, now let's get back to the tutorial. Then let's go to the graph mode. This is where you can have more control of the audio coming in. Let's say, for example, this tracking here is what you use to record the vocal. Let me click this tracking here. It's going to ask you if you want to detect the pitch or the pitch and the time. The pitch is going to just you can only modify the pitch, like if maybe it goes to D sharp, you can bring it back to C or key E of the major scale of C, for example, if you are working with major scale of key C. Then the pitch and the time is if maybe you want to expand the sustain or the width of the vocal. you can use this to adjust it accordingly. And then over here we have our nudges, where we can use to draw in curves, which we'll go into as the course progresses. We can use this here to even make it more precise, to cut, to zoom in, to mark a section, to draw a section. Maybe the Autotune, after scanning, it did not get the places precisely right. We can draw our own sections manually into it, and we'll get into that accordingly. Then the number of notes here is, if you want to be more precise, maybe you want it to be more in-depth in how it picks up notes, you can increase that to pick out more notes. Then the retune speed, just like I showed you earlier from the basic view, the amount of auto-tune itself you want, then the vibrato, and then the throat length. You see it also in the basic view. Then now let's come back to here, and then we see the let's click this. This is the advanced view. The difference between the advanced view and the auto and the basic view is simply the now addition of the vibrato. Now you have much more control over the vibrato, and you can also use your MIDI to target notes and create your own unique skill if you want to. So let's move on to the next lesson. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to tune vocals with the basic view. Now this is the basic view, and we'll listen to the song project here, and we'll know how, if it's a soprano voice, and what key it is, and how to find the key with Autotune. So let's listen. Remember, this is bypassed, actually it's not turned on at the moment. So let's listen to the song and see.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we die. Just while we're living our lives like it's paradise, but we can make a mistake. We make the wrong sacrifice, the consequence we survive, but everything's gonna be alright. Throughout the struggles though, we're still surfing the rain, hoping on better days. Life is beautiful, but ain't no walking in park. All I walk on the flames. All I walk on the flames.
Alright, so that's basically it. So now we don't know what key this is in. Some you may maybe very musical and you can tell the key of a song by ear, but some of us can't. There's a nice plugin that comes with this Autotune suite. It's called Auto Key. This is the beats channel. The beats is routed to this channel, so I just have to select Auto Key, and it's going to tell me the key of this beat. See here it says listening, so it's going to, I'm going to play it and it's going to listen.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we die. Just while we're living our lives like it's paradise, but we can make a mistake. We make the wrong sacrifice, the consequence we survive, but everything's gonna be alright.
So I bet you play it twice so you can be sure that it's perfect key. Play it again.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we die. Just while we're living our lives like it's paradise, but we can make a mistake. We make the wrong sacrifice, the consequence we survive, but everything's gonna be alright. Throughout the struggle.
Alright, so now it says D major. Okay? It says G major now. It has finished evaluating it, so it says G major. So because we do not have Autotune routed in the same channel, so you can't send it to the Autotune directly. But what we can do here is, since we sit down it's in G major, we'll come back to our Autotune in our lead vocal. We'll come here, key G major. And the vocal sounds a bit low, you understand? It sounds a bit deep, so we'll say low male. And then let's activate the, or let's turn it on and see how it sounds.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we never chose. Is it a taste or a die? Just what?
Alright, so if you can listen carefully, you see that there's not much tuning there yet. So there's not much tuning done there. So let's dial it in. It's already on 7. Let's take it all the way. This retune speed. Let's see how it sounds with this, with the maximum at retune speed.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die?
Let's turn off the harmony.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die? Just while we're living our lives like it's paradise.
You can see how that sounds. It sounds very, very artificial. So this, you don't have to take it all the way to 0. This is just to show you how it sounds when you take it all the way to the max. So let's bring it all the way to, let's say 7 and 10. And see.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose.
You see, when it's at 7 or 10, it doesn't sound artificial. Now it's in key, it's pitched properly, but it doesn't have that signature auto-tune sound. So now that depends on you and the artist if you want to have that signature auto-tune sound. But I think for this artist, having that signature auto-tune sound would be best. So I'll take it all the way down here.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die?
And then this flex tune, like I said earlier, is if you want to make it sound more natural. So let me take it all the way here and see how it sounds.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die? Just while we're living our lives like it's paradise.
You can see how it sounds so natural. But you don't need to go all the way to 100. You can just dial it in accordingly. You know, this auto-tune is more of a creative decision than a technical decision. As long as it sounds on key, that's all that matters. Then how much of it you want is entirely up to you.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die? Just while we're living our life.
So if I take this humanize all the way here, humanize kind of gives it room. Instead of locking it exactly on, let's say, on the white notes, you can give it a little room to share between a white note and the next neighboring note. Just a little room, but it's not sound off. Just make it sound a little bit more natural. That's why it's called the humanize function.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die? Just while we're living our life.
So let me increase this vibrato now. See how it sounds. Let me take it all the way here.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die? Just while we're living our lives like it's paradise.
You see the way it's dragging the vocals, trying to drag it and sustain it at the same time. So you can just have a little vibrato here.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die? Just while we're living our lives.
This sounds good. Now let me show you what the formant does. Let's assume I take it here.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die?
You see, that's what it does. So if that's kind of effect you want, you can get that done for your vocal. So let me take it back. So on the transpose, like I said, to a deeper, to another octave and all of that, and detune as well. So for the tracking, this vocal is very clean. So let's take it all the way to 100 and see.
Just all the choices we made. This is the life that we chose. Is it a taste or a die? Just while we're living our lives like it's paradise. But we can make a mistake. We make the wrong sacrifice. The consequence we survive. But everything's gonna be alright. Throughout the struggles though.
And that's how to use Autotune in the basic mode. Let's move on to the next lesson. Now let's look at the graphical mode. We come to this place right here, just this toggle it over here, and we have the graph mode. So for us to use the graph mode, Autotune is going to need to read the audio signal from our vocal track in our software. So we'll click pitch. I don't want to adjust the pitch and the time. You may want to do that by adjusting pitch and the time, but I just want just the pitch. So I'm going to play it and listen to the entire vocal so it records everything in here so I can have control over it.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we died. Just while we're living our lives like it's paradise, but we can make a mistake. We make the wrong sacrifice, the consequence we survive, but everything's gonna be alright. Throughout the struggles, though, we're still surfing the rain, hoping on better days. Oh, life is beautiful, but ain't no walking in the park. All I want on the flames. All I want on the flames.
All right, so you see we have this information right here. Now for us to, get it in, to do anything with it, you come here, make notes, click this make notes function right here, and then when you zoom in, when you click this, I can zoom in. So just by holding my control, I can zoom out. Without holding the control, I can zoom in. So let's zoom into the notes. All right, so these are the notes. Then let me come back to my, because I'm going to move anything, I need to select this arrowhead right here. So if I move this, make sure you deselect everything at first. Then I just want these notes to move. And if I move it up, let's see how it sounds.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we died. Just while we're living our lives like it's bad.
You see, that's the kind of control you get in the graph mode. So let me take it back. And then let's see how we can tune it. So we can select all the notes here. Let's zoom out. Hold your control and just left click to zoom out. And then to select, you simply use this feature right here. And everything will be selected. You can zoom in to confirm. So now we want our retune speed to be, let's say, 0. So we have that, or let's say 1. So we have that effect we wanted earlier. And then we'll listen again.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we died. Just while we're living our lives like it's paradise.
So now you can hear some notes are off. So we have to go in and adjust accordingly. So when we listen to this part here, we can see that this part is off. Let's come to this here. Make sure you deselect and then you move, and then we'll listen again.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we died.
Still not there yet. Let's take it to B and listen.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we died.
Let's bring this one down as well.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we died.
So let's adjust the retune speed a little. For that, we don't want it all the way there. Let's take it, let's say, to 6, and then we'll listen again.
Just all the choices we made, this is the life that we chose. This is the things that we died.
Yes. So you see this, the graph mode gives you you can really get in there and tackle specific problems if the auto mode is not good enough. That's why you may need to use the graph mode, because if you want to use the graph mode for your entire tuning process, it may be too stressful. Because imagine, let me zoom out a little so you see what I'm saying. Imagine trying to tune all of this manually. It's going to be stressful. So when you tune in auto, you can just go in there and correct specific problems, and you have a great vocal tune track already. So that's simply the case you may want to use this. And you can also draw, like I said earlier, you can draw yours. Let me select this, and then let's say I want information here. I don't think I had any information here, so I can just simply draw. You see, a new information here is out. Now I have, let me zoom in so I see. I wish Autotune had shortcut command for this panel, but there's no shortcut command. You have to click everything manually. So now I have this line selected here. Then I can click make notes again. Let me do that again one more time. I click this. You see, I have a note here, and then I can move it as I wish. You see that? I can move it as I wish. So this is for very, very specific problems, not advisable to use to tune your entire track. And this is where you use the graphical mode.